just like that I'm just showing you. Network adapter, for example. This is kind of a machine which is called as network adapter.
You're sharing. Are you sharing screen? Yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. This is actually network adapter and network switches. Okay. Let us take a network switch. This is actually a network switch. Okay. Now what happened? Okay, this is the network switch. Can you see how many switches, I mean connections are over there? How many port are available within that connection? Now you find a network switch and you want to find how many devices are connected with this network switch. Fine. You find the organization network switch now. Now we want to know how many ports we have within this one and how many connection we have with this one, where the in which port they have connected the LAN, in which port they are connecting some other equipment. First row whether we are finding out or the second layer we are finding out. Everything you want to know. Correct?
Correct.
Guys, are you
So
trying to
when you
understand?
say that, right, when you say that what are all the connections we are going to establish or we are going to identify, it's not just the direct ones that are connected directly to this particular port, but also until the up
Yeah.
until the end of it, from the connection. So let's
Yes.
say some device is connected to one port. It's not just the particular device. So from that device, where all it is getting
Yeah.
connected, it also needs to be discoverable. That's what is the question.
Yes. Yes. So, see, we are not going to run a separate discovery to find the particular mission, correct? We are going to run a discovery for the particular range of IP address. Within that IP ranges, what are the, I mean, missions or device it is finding out, and the dependency also needs to be find out along with that.
So let me ask a question
Correct?
here, Kasi. So if in a case like certain devices are so secured enough, right? What will happen in this case?
Yeah. Secure devices in the sense you're asking about the VPN and other stuff, or how it is actually.
No, anything for that matter, right? So certain device are should not be
Usually,
discoverable.
mid server is designed to sit within the security only, so you don't have those kind of issues and all. If you have firewall kind of stuff in the sense, we do have a separate port and authentication for the firewall. Once you put all those information, then it will unlock the firewall, and then it will go and find the device. Okay.
Okay. So. So is it a one-time activity that you are discovering all the device and you update all these information such as firewall authentication, all those things, and you run the discovery once? Is that how it works?
First, we are going to write the identification rules, okay, and
Okay.
then
Just a
dependent and
question.
independent
If
identification rules.
if there is any upgrade happened in the network part and they replaced any network configurations, how it will be get discovered?
Discovery is a scheduled one, correct? We used to
So
schedule the
okay,
discovery for every week or month itself. Whenever you run a discovery, if it finds a new device, any kind of port, then it will automatically update it. That is where we are writing the reconciliation rules. To not create the new ones, instead of that, it will go and update that particular device information.
okay. So by this reconciliation rules, it will be rescheduling the discovering. It will be analyzing the existing architecture and it will be updating or overriding the existing architecture, right?
Yeah, it won't reschedule the discovery. If the discovery runs
Okay,
in the sense, it will go and check whether the information is already present in it.
okay,
Once it find it, it will update it. Okay.
okay.
In order to avoid the duplications, mostly we can say.
Right.
Okay. So now you try to do some research on the part of SNNP. So if you go for SNNP means, what do you mean by SNNP?
Simple network management protocol, messaging protocol.
So whenever we are running the SNNP, what we are finding over here?
So it will be having, I mean, it will be collecting information through the tracks, right?
We'll be connecting information through the.
So where it will be connecting to the 161 UDP, I guess, port, 162 and 161, and but whereas it will be collecting the network components traps and logs, right?
Network only, it is network devices only it will be finding. But I didn't understand your, I couldn't hear you
No,
properly actually. What is it?
no, the information itself, it will be collected through the traps, SNMP traps.
Yes, yes, yes. SNNP or traps or SNNP listeners, you can say.
Okay, traps, traces, and
So,
those stuff, right?
yes. Try to do some research on VMware, ESX, network switches, adapters, Windows, Linux machine, and also with yeah,
So in
these few of
ESX, ESX, it
huh?
will be having its own components, right? In ESX.
ESX,
So where it will be having a cluster culture and where the cluster itself, it will be having a network components, right?
multiple virtual machine. It would be yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yes,
And within it, it will be having a quick communication over the VPC and network NIC cards and where the firewalls can be defined further, if I'm not wrong.
yes, yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
the thing is, now we are going to do with some of the things with the mid servers. Okay, how many?
Mm-hmm.
What are the different type of mid servers we have? Have you any time heard about this one?
No, no idea.
Have you heard about load balancer, mid server, or some other things like this?
No,
Uh,
we know the
or
load balancer, but need no idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay, mid servers usually we need to status should be up, and the validation we have to do whether it is working correct or not, and the version. These things once you install the mid server, you will be getting this information. And mid server cluster you have to design. For example, if you have 2 to 3 mid server running in a system, then you have to define what type of mid server it is, whether it is a load balancing mid server or failover mid server. Load balancing from the word itself, if you're going to run like many batches, many session batches around 50,000 ports or 50,000 range of things, then you will be doing this load balancing cluster mid server. Failover in the sense, take an example, you're having two mid servers, one is running out. Sometimes if the mid server cannot handle the, if it get failed to run in the sense, and if you mark any other mid server as a failover, then that mid server will be running and completing that particular job instead of the regular one, is called the failover mid server. Okay.
Pardon? Pardon?
Failover in the sense, you have two mid server now. Suddenly, what happened? One of the mid server is not responding. Automatically, what had
Okay.
happened? This failover
Scalability.
mid server will come and work over there. Okay.
Okay. Right. Auto
So this
scaling,
is
right?
how you.
more of a
Yeah.
disaster recovery,
This
right?
is how.
Okay.
Sorry.
more of a DR. When at a point DR, they call it as disaster recovery, right? That particular point, it works as a DR server. Is it?
It's a kind of replica, right? Where the backup instances will be get the front, the secondary instances will be projected in front. I'm not sure
Uh,
where is that.
Not sure where you.
I mean, we call it as replica, replication.
It has different terminologies. Even I was saying like disaster recovery at the term of disaster, you have the DR server, DR mid server that helps us, right? So that's how they call it as.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Vivek.
Failover is kind of a protection only. It is not, we can say that is going to do much things over here. Okay. So, okay, if you want to explain me in a detail in the sense, I could tell you that. Okay, when I'm trying to implement the mid server cluster, okay, failover or load balancing. So both the things we are just going to setting up the based on the capabilities of the mid server. Okay, okay. So let me take, there are two types of mid server as I have earlier said. Load balancing is basically used for whenever the discovery collects data about the network routers and switches application. Discovery supports data collection from the particular applications and hardware only like A10, Cisco, Apache, Citrix, and Altion, ACX, Radware, and all kind of stuff. Okay, but failover type is not used for the load balancing mid server. It is in a failover. It will be working as an independently one. It won't depend on some other mid server to come and work along with this. Whenever the mid server get fails, and the mid server cluster management business rule selected the highest available mid server in order to take that work. Okay, so the selector mid server checks the ECC queue and starts with a job that is either processing or ready to get processed. Okay, we have a
Can you repeat
business rule
that?
running on a
Can you repeat that, please?
the the failover mid server. No, it used to run like whenever a particular mid server gets fails. Okay, we have a business rule running in the system, and that business rule will go and check for the highest available mid server order in that failover cluster management. So whichever mid server is standing in the first, it will take the work of the failed mid server wherever the previous failed mid server leaves. From that, it will go and take and run up the things. Understood?
Got it. But then when you say this, I will have a question, right? So you're saying that it will go as per the order, right? Where the available mid servers
Yeah.
are there, and it will take that as per the order.
Yeah.
So when you say that, you're saying there will be backup mid server or failover mid server, right? So other mid servers, will there be too many failover mid server, or it will be only limited number of failover mid servers?
Limited
Because
number.
limited number, isn't it? So when you said the order, I was a little bit confused that why are we having too many failover mid servers, because they are not of too much operational, isn't it?
What is it? What is it? Come again?
When you said it goes as per the order, and I was thinking
Mm-hmm.
that why should we have too many failover mid servers active while it is not having too much of purpose, only
No,
for the
we don't
failover
have
purpose.
too much. Okay. We don't have too much. We will be having at least one to three. That's it. Not more than that.
Okay, and that will factor for different functionality or different this thing, is it?
Yes,
Go ahead, yeah, please.
but still it will come and help over here to get the information there.
Okay, which means that it will be
See,
used.
load balancing
It'll
in the
be
sense we used. Hmm. What?
no, which means that it has very minimal use, and just for the purpose of failover, it has been initiated, but then it will be used at a very minimal
Yeah.
usage
Yes.
perspective. Got it.
Yes. Mostly this is a very rare scenario. Okay, it won't happen, but still for this discovery schedule and all, we are not going to sit for the every time, correct? Whenever the schedule goes to going to run, suddenly if there is any issue, one of the mid server is getting failed in the sim. In that time, this will activate and work. That's it.
All right, yeah.
Not in every scenario. Huh? Are
Got
you
it,
able
right.
to get my point?
Got it, yeah.
Load balancer in the sense it supports to collect data from the many kind of application and especially with the hardwares. Okay, like Cisco and all, no, we used to get around 22 VLAN addresses, heavy loading that and all. In that case, this load balancer work server will automatically trigger and work. Okay,
Okay.
so you know about this mid server and mid server properties. There is around 61 out of the box properties. You can go and check all these properties when you have time. Okay, about the certification, about the error, what is the trusted URL, it has everything. These things are mostly helpful when it is coming to the troubleshooting and debugging kind of stuff. Other than that, you don't have much things to worry about over here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And these are out of box properties, and does these properties being editable, or is it, we should not touch this?
No, don't touch this. If you touch
Right.
this also, it will be washed away in upgrades. That's it.
Mm.
If you want, you go and create a new one. All that property over there.
Okay. I was having a long question,
So
like,
now,
how are we?
hmm?
I was always having a question. So, how are we differentiating with the properties with respect to other areas of functionality like business rules and other things? It's a general question, but not specific to it.
How are we differentiating the properties with the general business rule?
I mean, generally, I'm asking. So, how the business rules and all the other things are there, right? So, the properties
Hmm.
are specific to the module, and I'm just trying to correlate with these things, properties with respect to business rules, client scripts, and all the other.
Hmm. Okay, take system properties or take mid server properties, whatever it is. Okay. So each and everything you could see the email properties also. I think you have seen it. So
Yeah.
everywhere we are not going to use it in any kind of script includes or business rule. This property itself will be get called into it wherever it is necessary. You know, right? ServiceNow is fully configurable one. It doesn't have any kind of predefined codings or something like. Only they are just giving some kind of table. Go and call this one and call this number or call this particular value. Then it will works. That's it.
Right. It
I
works good.
used to
Works.
see the properties.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm
I
asking. I'm
used to
saying
see the properties as
it
well.
works as per the workflow. That's it. Right.
Yes, it works as per the workflow and it works as what we are calling into it, like a library file, or like you can say like a key value pair. That's it. For this key, this is the value. If you call this key, this value will be working along this. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Understand.
Mid-server capabilities. In what are the capabilities the mid-servers can run? So do you know that mid-server can run the REST message, SSH, SNMP, PowerShell scripts? It has much capability in it. Azure, SOAP, REST, Chef, all, AWS, Ansible, cloud management, PowerShell script, the REST scripts, and all. So these are the mid-server capabilities that has defined, and these are the things that can run in the system. Do you know what is meant by Nmap?
No idea.
Okay. Nmap is like a credentialless discovery. Still, you doesn't have any kind of credential for the any devices or machine. Still, you can enable the credentialless discovery for that particular device, which is going to give you some of the basic information about the device. Okay, where the Nmap will be working for that. Okay, for credentialless discovery, we use Nmap.
And the MARK.
Uh,
Can you spell it?
Nmap over here, can you see?
Nmap. Okay. Nmap.
Nmap.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. For credentialless discovery, we used to use this. Usually, midsummer, whatever it finds is a Windows device or Linux device, it used to, next in the classification, it used to go on validate the credentials. Once it put an authenticate the particular device, then only it can get all the information about the device. But still, if you don't have any credential in the sense, you can enable the credentialless discovery. Like normal credentialed discovery, it is not going to give you fetch you all the information. It may give you some of the basic information like this is Windows machine. It has this version. That's it. Some few basic information it can give to you. Fine. Up to this, any doubt? Up to this, any doubt, guys?
So we may need to go through all these things one by one, right? Only then we'll have some doubts. Yes.
Okay. Yes, you can. So you do have an installation instruction over here. So if you want to install the mid server, you can install it, but you need Windows Server 2012 in your system. If you have laptop, don't use it. If you have desktop, you can try it out by installing the VMware. Within that VMware, you can install the mid server Windows 2012. Okay.
That consume too much data, GB or something like that. Not installing in the laptop.
You need a Windows Server 2012 in your laptop. If you have it, you can access this one.
Okay. Okay.
We need this Windows Server as a prerequisite. You need this Windows Server 2012, and you should have a separate 8 GB memory for it. Okay, this can be this. Don't install it. Don't install the raw material within your system. Then your OS will out gone. Okay, you can install this within any kind of cloud machine or VMware. Then you can install the mid server, but definitely not with your raw substance one. Understood? Very high power, high value package this is. So I crashed nearly one of my laptop. So don't do that. Okay.
Fine.
Now, the questions in the interview may like, so what do you mean by failover discovery, and what are the different type of mid server we have, and what do you mean by failover mid server, or what do you mean by load balancer mid server, kind of stuff they you may come across. And one more thing, like the next question they may ask, like how you design the cluster mid server. You have 9 mid server, you have 6 mid server. Now, how do you design the 6 cluster mid server? So this kind of questions they may ask you. Okay. So now, how to configure a mid server cluster? As I shown you, it has to be either failover or it has to be a load balancer. Am I correct,
Yes.
guys? Okay. Now it can be a failover and whatever it is. Once I did with one, it will be showing the mid servers to me. For example, load balancing, and I'm giving test one as my cluster name, and I'm trying to save this one. Now you have to include the mid servers into this one. In the organization, you may have around 10 mid servers, 12 mid servers, n number of mid servers you can have. You have to move this site, and you have to make that mid servers is to a cluster one.
Because
Understood, guys? Huh? Yeah. Yeah, please go on with your question. What is it? What happened? Are you telling something? Guys, are you telling something?
no, no, I'm not telling anything. We are like a little confusion in, but okay, we are able to get you.
The next one you have to know in the sense if there is any issue with the mid server, where you should go and see the mid server logs and the mid server issues. Okay, this thing you have to know for sure, and that thing is like this is the table name. ECC underscore agent underscore issue dot list is the table where you can go and see the mid server issues or logs over here. If you have anything, any kind of mid server issues, automatically it will logs the log over here. Guys,
Can you keep on posting the locations, the table names with the what activity does so that we will
You want list of table names that one what activity it does for the mid server?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have it currently now, I but still I can prepare a chart on the same for you. Okay.
Okay, we can work on it, right? So that will be helpful us.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Sure,
for
I
this
can do that.
mid-server shoes, which module that you have selected from filter navigation?
Sorry, come again.
No, which one we need to search from the application navigator for this mid-server issues?
You can search for mid server issues itself.
Because I'm not getting it. Does that require any special? Another thing to be added?
I'm not sure, but usually I used to go with the table name only. If you want, you can select this module to be seen over there. Within this table, you can go and select it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
You go for tables and you can add this module if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
ECC underscore agent underscore distributed.
Yes. And another important table is the ECCQ agent. Whatever things comes up every time it will logs the issue. And sorry, server issues. Another table is the
Can you put that
server
in the chat?
issues.
Fine. If these.
Same table, it is server issues.
Okay.
Mid server issues, you can go for and search for the server issues. Both are same.
Okay.
And any kind of upgrade, clusters, properties, script includes. What are the script includes we have for this one? You can go and search for the script includes.
Okay.
Okay. Other things we can see on tomorrow on the practical session. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. And
And
please send
one
the
more thing,
recordings.
just okay, I will be. I asked the administrator to share the G drive with you all today within some time. It will be done. Okay.
And also, if possible, can you add Vivek in Telegram group so that we will be in connection, our team?
Sorry, today what happened? No, one minute.
Check with